Hi, this is Zam here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Friday, the 23rd of February. In a quiet week, but at least we're above the rising 50-day moving average at 76.25 and still could potentially hit the 78.30 level at the top of that rising August trend channel. If we do break back below the 50-day line, then the obvious place for support would be the 200-day moving average, 75.40. RSI at 57, which is right in the box seat in terms of a potential leading indicator on the upside rather than the downside. Moving on to the DAX, which has been rather more dynamic than the FTSE in the recent past and continues in that vein. Second unfilled gap to the upside this month. Very impressive. We tend to have gaps up on Thursday for some reason. Here we've got that initial target at the September resistance line projection, 17,700, let's call it. Hopefully we'll get that in the next couple of weeks overall. The big picture target could be up towards 18,500 as soon as the end of next month, but obviously that is going some and maybe a rather unlikely push up there over the next few weeks. On the downside, we've got the floor of the channel 16,900, and then hopefully the worst case scenario would be the 50-day moving average is 16,800, but at the moment with the gaps higher looking rather strong. Pushing on to the Dow, and here you can see gap higher as well, helped by Nvidia, I presume. Rising trend channel there from October, and top of that channel heading towards now another unlikely target, 41,000. We're probably looking for 40,000 by the end of next month, while we hold above the 50-day line, 37,900, or basically the recent 38,000 support. Pushing on to Bitcoin, and here consolidation just below the highs. We've got 49,000, the old January resistance as potential new support. Below that, 46,000, and obviously the worst case would be the 50-day line at 45. We want to break the top of that August channel at 53,000 to take us up to 60,000 by the end of next month. Moving on to gold, and here rather dull performance on the wrong side of the 50-day moving average there at 2042. We really want this market to break that December resistance line there now at 2055, because only something which was as powerful as that would then suggest that we could head up to the top of the rising trend channel from March up to 2180. Moving on to the stocks and starting off with Avacta, which has not exactly covered itself in glory over the recent past, but just the first signs that after a rather painful decline over the last 2-3 months, we are bouncing off a 1-year support line projection from back in March last year. That line roughly around the 76 pence level. Obviously we had an overshoot below that, but at least while we're above 76 on an end of day close basis, we get back into the 90s. Maybe that resistance line there from December at 95 might be a target for the next week or two. Best case at the moment is that we'd head up to the 50-day line at 104, but that does actually seem a long way away at the moment, especially if we've just had a one-day dead cat bounce. On to Arrow, which is now finally seems to be getting the appreciation in the market that it always deserved. Here we have a trend channel there, wide trend channel there from the beginning of last year. In fact, the early part of 2022, in fact, and here we're currently trading with the 50 and 200-day lines rising. That means we're going to a golden cross, hopefully early next month. The run up to a golden cross is traditionally the strongest part of the cycle, and we've already had that with the unfilled gap to the upside. This week, looking for 28 pence by the end of next month, or hopefully a bit sooner than that, while we remain above the gap floor at 20 pence. Next up is Coro, where it looks as though things are a little bit brighter at the moment as well. Here there's a bear trap gap reversal, or at least a push through the 50-day moving average. Like to see the market or the stock back at 0.25. Above that, we're looking for 0.35 if you're a fan of the shares. But the key here is really being on the right side of that 50-day line, especially on an end of day, end of week close today. Big splash in DG Innovate shares at the end of last year, and we're hoping that some of that magic will resume. Here you can see that we've got support, looks like pretty solid support there at 0.15. Above that, looking for 0.25 maybe by the end of next month, and with a quick reclaim of the 50-day moving average there at 0.18, hopefully in the meantime. Moving on to Emmerson, where things seem to be perking up a little bit again. Here we bounced off the 200-day moving average at 2.5 pence above that. We're looking for 3.5 to retest the resistance of earlier this month, and also the top of that July gap. So above the 2.4 pence area, that is hopefully going to 3.5. ECR Minerals, I left out of the bulletin board heroes yesterday. I tweeted about it though, but it was quite a celebration, breaking that 0.2 to 0.3 pence range, and also breaking the 200-day moving average at 0.3, above the 0.3, looking for 0.4 initially, which is an August resistance line projection. If you're a fan of the shares, maybe you can get up to 0.6 sometime later in the spring, presumably by the end of the next month, maybe a little bit too soon for that. Empyrean also feeling the benefit of good news today. Here you can see that we've gapped through that main resistance line there from back in the summer, above the resistance line there, 0.57. We're looking for 1.1 pence, perhaps as soon as the end of next month. What would seal the deal, I think, would be a proper end-of-day close above the 200-day line at 0.76. We went to that area earlier today. Onto Hummingbird, where maybe that we're finding the floor here, at the floor of the rising trend channel there from August. The 8.4 pence is the level there of support, and above that we're looking for at least maybe 10.5 pence over the next couple of weeks as the shares regroup after the gap down that they had back in December. We're moving along to Hydrogen Utopia, which rather quietly and surreptitiously has recovered during the week. Very good price action this week with this U-shaped bull flag, as I call it, breaking the recent high there from January, 6 3/4. Above that, we were looking for 9, and ideally we could get up to 13 pence by the end of next month, while we remain above that 6 pence zone. Hornby, an unlikely winner, and sort of schoolboy's favourite perhaps. Sort of sounds rather old-fashioned now, Hornby, but here we have a very strong rebound for the shares. Our initial target there, 24 pence. Above that, we were looking for up to 36 pence, and we're hoping for that. And we're hoping for that by the end of next month. It looks like we could do that by the end of this month. The key here, holding up 25 to get to 36 on Hornby. Premier African Minerals is next, and here you can see that well, obviously everyone's waiting for production, but we bounced off a rising 50-day line, which does have some technical merit, and we're also back above neutral 50 on the RSI. So just looking for maybe 0.4 pence over the next week or two, just from a charting basis. That's not a fundamental call. Next up is Powerhouse Energy, where the market received its recent news well. We hit the top of that channel there from October, and looks like we'll have another go if we can get another or a decent end-of-day close above the 200-day moving average at 0.46. Next level up would be to fill the gap up from August at 0.76 by the end of next month, if we get that quick clearance of the top of that channel. Moving along to the last two. First one is Renalytix, and here there's the first sign of a rebound. We've bounced off the old target there. The old target there was 25 pence. Above that, we're looking for the shares to at least get back into the mid to the low 30 area, maybe 34 pence, which was the last peak over the next week or two. Finishing off with Sondrel, and here it looks encouraging in the sense that we've got what I call sideways shuffle above a rising 50-day moving average. Recent support around the 10.5 pence level. While we hold above that, looking for a retest of the peak of this month at 20 pence plus, well before the end of the next month. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.